At such times, it can be important to have even the most basic of detective skills. How to follow clues, unravel leads, interrogate suspects. That's why today we'll be watching television's most talented detectives from the streets of London to LA, as they tackle coded messages, bank robberies, drug busts, and kidnappings. And who better to start with the mysterious theme than the infamous Sherlock Holmes? In Sherlock Holmes and the Secret Weapon, we'll watch as Holmes and Watson try to crack the code left to them after a scientist and inventor mysteriously disappears. The stakes are high, keeping a new invention out of the hands of the Nazis. We'll even catch a glimpse of Holmes' arch nemesis Moriarty, made in 1943 and starring Basil Rathbone. This new program is the perfect example of the deductive and brilliant reasoning of one of the most famous detectives. So grab your sleuthing hat and join me in watching Sherlock Holmes and the Secret Weapon.
You gentlemen look like educated men of good taste. I have here some rare old first editions.
Si le vieux vous embête.
He's not bothering us. I'm interested in his books.
Light beer. Oui, monsieur.
Now here are the complete works of Wilhelm Shakespeare, an old German writer. We move tonight. Orders from Berlin. Dr. Tobel is to be across the border before dawn.
But we have had orders not to break into his house, and he hides there. Hasn't been outside in weeks.
The Führer wants no trouble with Switzerland at the moment. We must be very careful. The English Schweinhunter will try to take Dr. Tobel from under our very eyes. They are sending a stupid, bungling amateur detective. His name is Holmes, or some such foolishness.
He will never escape from Switzerland alive.
Now, quick. Let me thrown out of here. And watch for my signal from Dr. Tobel's window. But, gentlemen, you promised to buy one of my books.
I told you no.
Stop bothering us.
They are not so great prices.
Allez, vieux, sors d'ici, c'est l'étudiant. Pas pas embêter les clients. Prends-les. Prends ton chapeau.
Je crois pour mes livres.
Prends les hautes parts. C'est ta carte.
Je ne veux pas aller à Caen.
Allez, sors d'ici. Reviens plus, hein. En fait, les clients,
Cochon.
French, English. Oh, I hate those languages.
Calm yourself, my dear Braun. In a short time, there will be only one language.
Good evening, Dr. Tobel. I have here some very interesting scientific books. I thought you might like to see them.
Please come in. He's entering the house. Quickly, get the car and have the motor running. I will follow. Herr X will have the tow bell bomb sight at the Fuhrer while this Holmes is still having his tea. Now,
what are you doing? I am sorry, but for months, every move I have made has been watched. I am not a coward, Mr. Holmes.
They won't watch you anymore. Tonight they intend to take you forcibly across the German border.
Then why do we wait here, doing nothing, like rats in a trap?
Calm yourself, my dear Dr. Tobel. We shall not only escape their trap, but we shall also take the cheese away with us.
But how?
The 4 sections of your bomb sight fit inside these ponderous tomes. Although I must confess that I shied at the thought of disemboweling a complete set of Charles Dickens.
Oh, but you cannot hide me in a hollow book.
My dear fellow, I'm sorry that my good friend Dr. Watson isn't here to explain to you that my preparations are never slipshod.
Stefan, Eric, why do you call my servants?
Your servants, yes, but tonight they assume new roles. Let me present Dr. Tobel and our old friend, the bookseller.
Holmes, it is so simple.
Yes, the obvious always appears simple. Quick now, we must leave. Stefan, the knapsack. Eric are proving excellent decoys.
And the Gestapo has been fooled?
Completely.
You think you made them believe you're a harmless old bookseller?
Yes, I've always felt that a thorough knowledge of the classics might come in handy.
But how can we get across the border and through France?
There's no need to get across. This very moment, a Royal Air Force plane is waiting for us at a secret landing place.
How long before we arrive in London?
In a very few minutes. We're passing over Dover now.
Thank you.
Dr. Watson's. Very untidy fellow.
What are we going to do with these?
A problem of the most elementary nature, my dear Dr. Tobel.
You are going to keep them here?
I have always believed in the theory, originally projected by Edgar Allan Poe, the American writer, that the best place to hide anything is where everyone can see it.
Yes, but...
You will remember, no doubt, in Poe's story, The Purloined Letter. The missive in question was always in plain view. Hands up, gentlemen. Scotland Yard, quick!
Oh, my goodness!
Good evening, Mrs. Hudson.
Oh, why, it's Mr. Holmes.
Holmes! Hello, Watson, old fellow. It's good to see you again. Telephone.
Huh? Who do you want?
Oh, yes, you're Scotland Yard. I'm afraid there's been a little mistake. Well, you needn't get angry. We all make mistakes at times. What? Well, if we didn't, you'd be out of a job.
Dr. Tobel, this is my friend and associate, and as you may have observed, my watchdog, Dr. Watson.
How do you do, sir?
How do you do?
Dr. Tobel and I flew in from Zurich this evening. You can put that thing away now, Watson.
Dr. Tobel, awarded the Massingham Bequest for physics in 1939.
My dear Watson, there is only one Dr. Tobel.
Without Mr. Holmes, there would have been no Dr. Tobel, I am afraid.
But I thought you were living in America, sir.
I have been working in Switzerland for the past 2 years.
And Holmes got you out?
In the nick of time. There was not a point he overlooked. Every contingency was foreseen and provided for. It was magnificent.
Thank you, Doctor. The problem is not without its interesting points.
Is there anything you would like, Mr. Holmes?
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Hudson. You can go to bed now.
You gave me an awful fright dressed up like that. Well, good night, sir.
He's quite right. You can't blame me for jumping to the conclusion that I did. He looked like a broken-down musician. Holmes, why didn't you take your fiddle with you? I never did think much of this dressing-up business.
It was necessary, I assure you. The Gestapo was close on our heels.
Really?
This is Sherlock Holmes. I want to speak to Sir Reginald Bailey, please.
Reginald Bailey? Is that the fellow who played Rugger for Blackheath?
Yes, Watson.
Oh.
Hello, Sir Reginald. Holmes speaking. Yes, from Baker Street. I have Dr. Tobel with me. Oh, thank you. Very well, then. I'll meet you in half an hour. There must be no delay. I'll arrange with Sir Reginald to have the test tomorrow morning.
I suggest that only cabinet ministers and your best aviation experts be present.
Naturally. Watson, I leave Dr. Tobel in your care. Give him a sedative. This has been a strenuous business, and he has a long day ahead of him again tomorrow.
Certainly, Holmes, of course. He should sleep in my bedroom. I'll keep watch till you return.
Thank you.
It is not necessary to guard me. I am quite safe now.
Safe, Dr. Tobel? I shouldn't count on it for a second.
What?
Hello? Yes, I just arrived about an hour ago. It is most important that I see you at once. No, I cannot explain. It is now 5 minutes past midnight. I leave at once. Goodbye.
Holmes, I don't have to tell you how much this means to us.
We shall know a great deal more about the bomb site after the demonstration, Sir Reginald.
The War Office have a pretty good idea of the value of the Tobel bomb site, just as the Nazis have. However, if you'd care to place Dr. Tobel under the protection of Scotland Yard until tomorrow...
No, that won't be necessary. I shall personally deliver Dr. Tobel to your representatives on Salisbury Plain in plenty of time for the demonstration.
Thank you.
Good night, Sir Reginald.
Good night, Mr. Holmes.
Averley, flat B.
Right. Get the car ready. I'll wait here until he comes out.
Is that what the Americans call doodling?
It is more serious than you could possibly realize, Charlotte. Good.
More coffee?
No, thank you, darling. I must get back before they miss me.
We've been separated for so long. I couldn't bear it if anything should part us again. I want to work with you, and I want to know every minute where you are.
Even for you to know the details of my mission in London is to sign your death warrant.
If you're in real danger, I want to share it.
There is one thing you can do. Guard this envelope. If anything happens to me, see that it reaches the hands of Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Mr. Sherlock Holmes,
Yes.
I pray I never have to deliver it.
He got away. Are you all right, sir? I think so. It must have been a robber.
Since the blackout, those blighters have become quite a nuisance, sir. I say, you'd better come with me and have that fixed up.
Thank you.
Just lean on my arm, that's it.
Watson, wake up!
Huh?
Where's Tobel?
He's in there.
No, he isn't. He's gone.
That's impossible. He's asleep in my bed. I've been here all the time.
If anything's happened to him... Tobel!
All right?
Nah, it is nothing. Here, sit down here.
Let's have a look. Oh, it doesn't look too bad. Who patched you up? The police doctor?
Yes.
You look as if you'd been attacked.
Obviously, my dear Watson. Dr. Tobel, do you suspect the woman of arranging the trap?
Woman? What woman?
She's blonde, 5'6", full-lipped, and very affectionate.
Oh, really?
You've known her for a long time. You were attacked after leaving her apartment.
Holmes, how do you know this?
The face powder on your coat tells me of her height and her affection for you. You held her close before departing.
Steady, Holmes.
It's all there for the trained eye to read, Watson.
But look here, why couldn't he have been attacked on his way to the woman's apartment?
The mark of a blow has erased some of the powder. Obviously, if the attack came first, the powder would have remained undisturbed.
And the full lips? That was a guess.
I never guess, Watson. You have rubbed the lipstick from your face with the handkerchief you now hold in your hand. And that amount of lipstick never came from a pair of thin lips.
And the blonde hair? Good gracious me.
Mr. Holmes, I am glad you are on my side. Well, in that case, you will desist from disobeying my orders and slipping out, while your bodyguard sleeps his watch away.
It won't happen again, Holmes. I was sitting in front of the fire.
All right, all right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The principle of Dr. Tobel's device involves the use of 3 sonic beams. Is that right, sir?
That appears to be it.
There he is.
We're on the course now, sir.
Well, gentlemen, how do you like the bomb sight now?
Marvelous. Will revolutionize aerial bombardment.
Inspector Lestrade.
Yes, Sir Reginald?
I hope Scotland Yard is taking every precaution to guard Dr. Tobel and his equipment.
2 plainclothes men ride with him in his car, sir, and 4 others follow in another one, sir.
Good. He's coming to my office in Whitehall as soon as he lands. Shall we start, gentlemen?
Here he is, gentlemen.
Congratulations, sir. It was excellent.
Amazing performance.
It was magnificent, Dr. Tobel. Magnificent.
I am glad we had such ideal conditions for the test.
I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it myself.
We've been through a lot, Holmes. But thank goodness he's safe now.
You brought your apparatus with you?
No, Sir Reginald. I did not.
But why not? It must be lodged in the most impregnable vault in this building until we're ready to start manufacture.
I have arranged for a little office of my own. I intend to supervise the manufacture myself.
But you offered it to our government for our use. Everything Mr. Holmes has done has been with that idea in view.
I still offer it to your government, but no one else will know the secrets involved. I have devised a plan to guard my invention. A plan as intricate as the bomb site itself.
If you imagine for one moment...
Please. I will not change my mind, Sir Reginald. I am taking the matter into my own hands.
Just what do you propose to do, Dr. Tobel?
I am sorry. I cannot reveal the details of my plan for the present.
Do you think that's wise?
I regret, gentlemen, I cannot change my decision. I shall work independently. Hoffner, I am entrusting this to you because, first of all, you are a Swiss. And second, there is no doubt in my mind of your ability.
I'm honored, Dr. Tobel.
I have divided the mechanism of my invention into 4 units. Each is meaningless without the others.
You have delivered the other 3?
Yes. No one but myself knows the identity of the 4 scientists working on the 4 units. Their names are not even known to each other. Hello? Yes, Lestrade? Oh. Very well.
What is it, Holmes?
Just as I feared. Lestrade's men report that Tobel is missing.
Missing? Gone.
Yes, I was afraid of this.
How long has he been missing?
Practically since he walked out of your office yesterday. If you'd only given me the address of this place, I shouldn't have had to waste so much time finding it.
Empty. The bomb site's gone.
I didn't expect to find it here, Sir Reginald.
This is a pretty mess. If you knew this was going to happen, why the devil didn't you do something about it?
You can rely on Holmes implicitly, Sir Reginald.
Tobel's gone, and heaven alone knows where. Well, it serves me right for listening to that crack-brained idea of his. He dismissed Lestrade's men, and they went, leaving him here alone and unguarded. Holmes, if anything has happened to Tobel, if his invention falls into the hands of Germany, it will be a major disaster for England.
Christmas wrapping. He did his Christmas shopping in plenty of time.
Yes, curious.
Do you notice anything, Holmes? Scent. Perfume.
Yes, I noticed it the moment we entered the room. Clair de Lune. One of the rarer essences, and very expensive.
That woman again.
Undoubtedly. Give me Inspector Lestrade. Sherlock Holmes calling.
So Holmes is finally stumped. First time I've heard him call for help.
Call for help, indeed. He's only just beginning his investigation.
Lestrade, this is Holmes. Check the records and trace a call made on my private telephone at Baker Street at approximately 12 o'clock on the night of Dr. Tobel's arrival in London.
Finally stumped, eh, Sir Reginald?
Yes, Lestrade? Wait a minute. Charlotte, Aberley, 34, St. George's Street, flat B. Excellent, Lestrade. Thank you. Where is Dr. Tobel?
I can't tell you.
You mean you won't tell me?
I don't know.
How many Christmas packages did you take to him, Miss Aberley?
5.
He dismantled his bomb site and packed the units in 4 other boxes. Is that correct?
Pardon me. Hello? Yes? This is Miss Zaberly. Why, someone must have stolen it. On Richmond Bypass. Yes. Yes, I'll arrange to have it removed. Yes, at once. Now I can be frank with you, Mr. Holmes. Dr. Tobel has disappeared. They found my car on Richmond Bypass, wrecked. I loaned it to him last night.
For what purpose, Miss Aberley?
He wouldn't tell me. But he said that if anything should happen to him, I was to give you this.
Holmes? Then he must have expected something.
Yes. This envelope has been opened and resealed.
Oh, but that isn't possible. It hasn't been out of my hands.
We meet again, Mr. Holmes. Miss Aberley, Dr. Tobel is being held by one of the most brilliant men in the history of crime. Come along, Watson. There isn't a moment to lose. Goodbye, Miss Aberley.
Oh, goodbye, Miss Aberley. I don't see why I'm not allowed to go with you.
You have your own mission, Watson.
Yes, to take a sealed note to Inspector Lestrade while you search Soho.
I shall not be searching for him. I shall permit him to find me in the character of a murderous Lascar once in his employ, and whom I may add is still in jail.
Yes, but after all these years...
Make no mistake, Watson. This is not a duel of intellects with a cruel but single-minded Gestapo killer. This is our greatest problem, with England as the stake, and our antagonist, Professor Moriarty.
We've got to beat him. Once he's behind bars, I think I shall entitle my memoirs of these adventures The End of Moriarty.
An excellent title, Watson. But, we must arrange that it isn't Moriarty who's left to write the memoirs.
Ram Singh.
Oh, no, Ram Singh.
I do. You blooming wharf rat. Been in jail, ain't you?
How you know?
I heard from the blighter what left you to swing instead of him. You know what I mean, matey.
I know. I'll have to kill him.
Would it be worth £10 to you?
You know where he lives?
For £10, I know.
Only got 2.
Goodbye, matey.
5.
£10 on nothing, you lying heathen.
You dirty thief.
Well, that ain't so much to ask for what you want to know.
You'll make good bargain.
That does it.
Well?
You remember Angel's Court?
Huh?
Then follow your nose through the alley till you come to Jack Brady's carpenter shop. He can tell you where the blighter is at this very moment.
You come too.
Me?
If you lie...
All right, mister, I'll come along with you. Easy, matey, easy. Follow me.
Who's that?
Pegleg.
Who's this bloke?
He's a bloodthirsty heathen, but there's good money to spend for information.
What's he want to know?
He give me £5 to bring him to someone who could tell him the whereabouts of you know who.
You not tell me I cut 2 throat.
Cost you another £5.
But Tom Moore, you, Pim.
Me?
Come on, you. Come on, Pim.
Right.
I'll tell you all right, I will. The truth, and that's a fact. The blighters in Davy Jones's locker are feeding the fishes, he is. Deader than a blinking mackerel. Nah, ain't that worth a fiver?
I tell you he's alive.
And I say he's been dead these many years.
You lie!
Easy there, Jack Brady. I would say you were wrong and Mr. Sherlock Holmes was correct.
Good evening, Professor Moriarty.
Welcome, Holmes. My men have instructions to bring anybody here who inquires for me. They haggle while I watch. An admirable disguise, by the way. It fooled them completely. Of course, it didn't fool me.
I never intended that it should. I meant only that it should bring us face to face.
Just like old times, eh? A battle of wits, of superior intellects. I may say I've been expecting you since I made off with your precious Dr. Tobel.
And his code.
Ah, yes, and his code. But valuable as your doctor and his code are to my business, I think my main interest in this affair is the chance it gives me to battle with you again.
Moriarty, this is no simple crime that you contemplate. It's a staggering blow against your own country.
That doesn't concern me overly. I shall make greater profit from this affair than all my other adventures put together.
Then you refuse?
Oh, most assuredly. In fact, I intend to ensure the success of this venture tonight by liquidating you, Mr. Holmes. I think that is the American phrase.
Quite.
You, the one man intelligent enough to stand in my way.
A gun? Oh, come now. This is not the Professor Moriarty, the master criminal I once knew. A dock rat could do as much.
Did you think I was going to shoot you, Mr. Holmes? Oh, dear me, no. This is simply to prevent a troublesome scene. I expected you and made full arrangements. You see, my good Mr. Holmes, these shelves lift out. And you will rest somewhat uncomfortably in the false bottom of this sea chest. My sailor friend, Jack Brady, goes to sea immediately. Once out of sight of land, he pushes the chest overboard. Time up. Perhaps your good friend, Dr. Watson, can entitle this adventure The End of Sherlock Holmes.
He will be disappointed. He intended to call it The End of Professor Moriarty.
Hurry. Brilliant man, Sherlock Holmes. Too bad he was honest. The one-legged man. He takes Mr. Holmes right to that carpenter shop. He knocks on the door. A man comes out and in they go.
Well, thank you, George. We'll take over the watch.
Good night, Dr. Holmes.
Good night. What does Mr. Holmes hope to accomplish by this masquerade? He hopes to frighten Moriarty into rushing Tobel into another hiding place. Moriarty's dead, I tell you. Look out. Over here, quick.
Hey, just a minute.
Who's that?
What do you got there?
Who's asking?
Scotland Yard?
Scotland. Half a mo, Governor. I'll show you me papers. That's it. There you are. There you are, Governor. I'm Jack Brady, ship's carpenter. Shipping out tonight in a convoy. Destination unknown. My pal here's helping me get my chest aboard.
Make him open it, Lestrade.
Yes, go on. All right, Governor. See for yourself.
There's nothing here, Doctor. Just a couple of simple seafaring men. All right, get on with it.
Thank you, Governor.
Come on now. Easy does it, right? Good night, your lordships.
Told you it was a lot of nonsense.
I don't understand. That thing was weigh a ton. Look at those men staggering.
You've hit on something, Doctor. A few tools wouldn't take that much energy.
We've just looked inside.
On the top only, there might be a false bottom. Hey, you stop there! Stop or I'll shoot!
Great Scott, Holmes!
Well, I'll be blowed.
You're not hurt?
No. Well, you needn't have yelled at them so abruptly.
Huh?
They dropped me on my head.
I only got one glimpse of the note while he was preparing it.
He was seated at this desk.
No, he was sitting on the couch when he wrote the message, but he sealed the envelope here.
The message was written in ink with this pen.
No, he used a pencil. This one.
Thank you. Used this writing pad?
Yes.
Has it been used since?
No.
They should be here. They must be here.
What, Mr. Holmes?
The lead in this pencil is hard. Hard enough to make an impression on the coarse fibers of which this paper is made. The impressions at the moment are invisible. If we immerse this sheet in a solution of fluorescent salts, dry it, and then photograph it by ultraviolet light, the fibers broken by the writing will absorb less of the solution than other parts of the paper. Switch off the lights, Watson. We place the slide in the projector and turn on the light. The broken fibers appear darker than the rest of the paper and are therefore visible.
Splendid, Holmes. Now I recognize that code. Do you remember a case we had some years ago? It's probably the same, alphabet substitution code.
Yes, Watson. I believe Dr. Tobel meant to communicate with us by that means.
Substitution of the alphabet? I don't understand.
My dear, one of the oldest codes in use is based on the repetition of figures. E is the letter most used in the British language. Therefore, the figure most used, probably, in this message is E. T, A, O, I, and N follow in that order of frequency.
You mean you can read these figures as if they were letters of the alphabet?
Elementary, my dear Miss Abler. Give me 1 minute, and you shall have the message.
And what is the message, Watson?
This fellow Tobel must have been pulling our legs. It's a lot of gibberish. I-Y-Z-L-M-T-H-K. Reads like an eye doctor's chart.
Dr. Tobel is a brilliant scientist. I saw immediately that he wouldn't send us a message so simple to decipher. Neither would he affix these top figures without a meaning.
Then it isn't the alphabet substitution code.
Yes, it is, Watson, but with a very clever variation. You see, the 1, 2, 3 figures means that we skip letters in that order. In other words, observe, Watson. The first letter, which is I, skips 1 and becomes J. The second letter, Y, skips 2 and becomes A. And the third skips 3 and becomes C.
J-A-C.
J-A-C-O-B-D-U-R-R-E-R.
Jacob Dürer, a Swiss scientist and friend of Dr. Tobel's.
P-A-L-A-C-E-C-R-E-S.
Paris Crescent.
Right.
I say, Holmes, this man Dürer must be important.
Obviously, Watson. He must have some connection with the bomb site, or Tobel wouldn't have taken so much trouble to see that I got his name. Take down the rest of the message. J-O-S-E-P-H, Joseph.
E-M-D-D-I-A-C. Number 4 doesn't make any sense. He must have used some other variations.
4 names and addresses. Jacob Dürer, Professor Farrell, Dr. Kern. And this 4th infernal cipher, which doesn't fit the code. Christmas boxes. Watson, I'm beginning to see the plan. Dr. Tobel divided his bomb site into 4 parts, just as we brought it back from Switzerland. He's given one section of the mechanism to each of these famous scientists. What a fascinating plan. You see, each part is useless without the other 3, and undoubtedly, none of these scientists is known to each other. Professor Moriarty also has the code, and we must allow for his ability to decipher it.
Here, where are you going, sir? Jacob Dürer live here? Yes, but there's been a bit of trouble, sir. You can't go in. Inspector Lestrade's orders.
Oh.
Here, just a minute, sir.
That's Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, very sorry, sir.
Dead as a doornail. Mr. Holmes, how did you know about this? The yacht only heard 15 minutes ago.
We better hurry, Holmes. There's still time to save Farrell and Kern.
Too late, Watson. By this time, Farrell and Kern are dead, too.
What? Deductions again, Mr. Holmes?
Facts, Inspector.
Oh, facts.
What is the name of the 4th man?
I can't remember.
What is the name of the 4th man?
I have forgotten.
What is the name of the 4th man?
I don't know. I don't know.
What is the name of the 4th man?
I can't remember.
4th man. What is the name of the 4th man?
What is the name of the 4th man?
Holmes, don't you realize what this means to England? We not only lose the Tobel bomb site ourselves, but Germany gets it. Coventry, Bath, Plymouth, London. Not to mention Norwich and Hull. All over again, but with 10 times the effect.
Don't you suppose I realize that's Reginald? Don't you suppose I'd give my life to decode the last name of that message?
There must be some solution.
Naturally, Watson.
I needn't be rude. I need a drink. I'm all in. I can't think anymore. All these letters and figures whirling through my brain. It's all twisted round.
Twisted round.
Huh?
That's it.
That's what?
Twisted around, you said. So simple, I never thought of it. Reverse the slide. You see, gentlemen? These figures are now identical with the first 3 names. In other words, all the figures of name number 4 are written backwards and read from right to left until we reverse the slide when they read correctly from left to right. Now let's work on it. Pencil, Watson.
But, why would Dr. Tobel want to reverse the figures of number 4?
An added precaution, Lestrade, in case the cipher should fall into the wrong hands.
Oh, quite a compliment to you, Mr. Holmes. I mean, Tobel taking for granted that you would recognize the difference.
Thank you.
I'll break this code. I'll find the name of that 4th man before Holmes does.
There is not much more time. The submarine is to pick us up off Sheerness in 6 hours.
I've beaten Holmes so far. We'll meet your confounded submarine with the bomb site intact.
But Tobel is unconscious again. As last resort, we could abandon the code and take Tobel to Germany.
You try Tobel again in here. Wait. Spilling that glass of water was a very fortunate accident, my dear street brawler. Dr. Tobel's perversion of the cipher was so simple that it fooled us. I was looking for something ingenious. This is ingenuous. He simply reversed the cipher. Frederick Hoffner, Sloane Square. Of course. Hoffner would be the perfect selection.
Then you want us to attend to Hoffner?
No, we can use Hoffner. He's a brilliant scientist. If Dr. Tobel doesn't recover from your persuasion, Hoffner will be able to put the 4 parts together. You and Godfrey will call on Hoffner, and you will bring him here with the 4th section of the bomb site. Hurry.
Put up your hands, Professor Hoffner.
I'll take the box. We meet again, Professor. Sherlock Holmes.
An improvement on the other makeup. Don't you think so, Professor?
So you think you've beaten me, Holmes?
I have. The real Hoffner is safely in the hands of Scotland Yard.
But I still have Tobel. Now I shall sell Germany the inventor instead of the invention.
You've learned nothing from him in spite of all your torture. Otherwise, you wouldn't be trying so desperately to collect the 4 sections of the bomb site.
A keen observation, my dear Holmes. But observe further that you are now in my hands, and I have profited by my last mistake of allowing underlings to attend to you.
Holmes took my place, and while the Nazis were inside with him, he instructed me to attach a small apparatus underneath their car.
He's a brilliant fellow, Holmes. I helped him prepare the apparatus.
Did you really, Doctor?
That is, I poured in the luminous paint when you told me to.
Very clever, Dr. Watson.
The apparatus drips at regular intervals, leaving a trail of luminous paint.
Now, Holmes, what should it be? The gas chamber, the cup of hemlock, or just a simple bullet through your brain?
You disappoint me, Professor.
Indeed?
Yes. Somehow I always thought that in the end, you'd prove to be just an ordinary cutthroat.
You know me better, Holmes.
Gas, poison, bullets. I assure you, Professor, were our positions reversed, I should have something more colorful, more imaginative to offer.
I'm satisfied to be the winner. I shall be alive.
Alive, yes. The winner, no. For in the last analysis, I shall have proved the more resourceful man. You didn't trap me here. I came here because I wanted to prevent your getting Hoffner. And all you can do in return is to commit ordinary murder, to relieve your sense of frustration.
And what, my good Mr. Holmes, could you have conceived that would have been so much more colorful?
Well, even offhand, I can improve upon your suggestions considerably, but that's only natural, of course.
And what is this brilliant idea of yours?
You know that a man dies if he loses 5 pints of blood? Yes, of course you do. I should have you placed on an operating table, inject a needle into your veins, and slowly draw off your life's blood.
The needle to the last. Eh, Holmes?
Slowly, drop by drop, the blood would be drawn from your body. You would be aware of every exquisite second to the very end. You would be watching yourself die scientifically, noting every reaction, and in full possession of your faculties.
Interesting.
Yes, isn't it? I humbly submit, Professor, that to the very end, I've been more resourceful than yourself.
You've played into my hands, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Time and again I've used this place as a haven for friends of mine injured in altercations with Scotland Yard. I have a fully equipped hospital here.
The trail goes this way, Inspector.
Drop by drop, Holmes. Drop by drop. In a way, I'm almost sorry. You were a stimulating influence to me. But it was obvious that I should win in the end. Only a matter of moments now. Take Tobel down to the boat. Start the engine. Closer to the end, Holmes. Closer and closer. Each second, a few more drops leave your desiccated body. And you can feel them, can't you? You're perfectly conscious, aren't you, Holmes?
I shall be conscious long after you're dead, Moriarty.
Ha! Still the same old swaggering, conceited Sherlock Holmes. Wait.
If Moriarty hears a shot, he'll kill Holmes. You keep an eye on the boat. Don't make a move till Dr. Watson and I get inside. Understand? You wait here, Professor Hoffner. Come on, Doctor.
The water's this way. Moriarty's rooms must be out here.
I can't wait any longer, Holmes. You'll have to forgive the crudity, my friend. This is only the coup de grace.
Stand still, Moriarty, you're done for.
Holmes! On the contrary, Inspector, my men are outside. It's you who are done for.
Really? Just take a look out the window and see for yourself. He'll try to get to the speedboat.
Yes, he won't go without Tobel.
Come on.
Wait!
Here's Dr. Tobel, Inspector. He ain't too badly hurt.
Thank heavens for that. Look after him, will you, Hoffner?
I'll take him to the car.
I expected you, but not with my revolver.
You realize, of course, when I was brought into the room blindfolded, that I heard the mechanism of this door?
Of course.
And yet, knowing that I'd heard it, you planned this way of escape. Not very flattering to me. Suicide, my dear Professor.
Not at all, my dear Holmes. You see, this is not an ordinary passageway. Oh, my mistake. It has been as equally well prepared as the rest of my humble quarters. I have a trap set, electric eye principle. My passing through will break the beam and automatically open a highly deceptive trap door. Behind me, of course, my pursuer, meaning you, my dear Holmes, will then be plunged 60 feet into the sewers below. Holmes! Holmes!
Poor Moriarty. I neglected to warn him. It seems some careless person came across his trap door and left it open. Come along, Watson.
Oh, hello there. Welcome back to Retroactive Television. Betty Sue and I were just discussing the ending of Sherlock Holmes and the Secret Weapon. Certainly kept me on the edge of my seat.
Very exciting. I love a good mystery.
Speaking of good mysteries, I understand you've got some exciting programs lined up for this week's show.
Oh yes, it's going to be quite the show. We're going to be listening to the Richard Diamond Private Eye radio series. Diamond is a quintessential private eye, rough, sarcastic, and ruthless, and he's very much in love with his sweetheart Ellen, someone who can solve crime by day and come home to his wife at night and sing her to sleep. A real man.
You don't find that anymore now, do you?
And certainly not in these parts.
Well, darling, I still might be able to give you a run for your money, with 2 detectives I've got lined up next.
Let's see what you've got.
We've got Dick Tracy, a hard-hitting, fast-shooting private eye from Chicago, and police detective Joe Sargent, the star of Dragnet, who leads his gritty, hard-working police force to solve the hard street crimes of L.A.
Impressive to be sure, but can they sing?
Well, I wouldn't know about that, Betty Sue. But maybe we'll find out in these next clips.
Sounds like a plan.
You heard the woman. Looks like we're going to have to show her some real men detectives. Good thing I've got just the lineup. Up next, Joe Friday is put to the test in Dragnet's The Big 17, and then Dick Tracy faces one of the hardest cases of his life. Dick Tracy meets Gruesome. So stick around, see some true sleuthing take place.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
This is the city. 2 million people. Almost 1 million kids. The people have tried to plan for them. They've built schools for them to learn in. Beaches and parks for them to play in. Most of the kids follow the course as planned. A few of them get lost on the way. When they do, it makes trouble for me. I'm a cop. It was Thursday, April 10th. We were working the day watch out of Juvenile Division. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Stein. My name's Friday. The crime wave had suddenly erupted among the teenagers of the city. We were getting reports of robberies, burglaries, and bodily assault. We didn't know why it was happening, but we had to try and stop it.
Frank? Yeah, Joe.
Got a call in West Fremont.
Same neighborhood we had trouble Monday night?
Yeah, sounds like it might be the same gang, too.
Those kids are sure moving fast.
Yeah, did you leave the note for Simmons?
Mm-hmm. All set. What is it this time?
Movie theater on West Fremont, small neighborhood house.
Mm-hmm.
They had a crowd of 15 or 20 kids in there today, mixed group, boys and girls. For no reason at all, they started to tear the place up.
They do much damage?
Well, we can see when we get there. They told me on the phone, theater manager tried to quiet the kids down. Half a dozen boys piled all over him. One of them pulled a knife. They tore up a couple of seats, moved out into the lobby, smashed mirrors, lamps, beat up one of the ushers.
Lousy little punks that give a right arm to know how this thing got started. We never had much trouble from the kids in that neighborhood out there, Joe. Not until this last month. They seem to be going crazy.
It's not getting any better. Burglaries, car thefts, wrecking property.
Somebody's going to come out on the short end if it keeps up. It's got to happen.
Well, maybe it already has, Frank. When they were ripping up that theater lobby today, one kid got hurt.
What happened?
14-year-old boy. In the mix-up, he got shoved through a display case, plate glass.
Cut up pretty bad?
On his eyes. I'm not sure he's going to see again. In police work, the standard law of cause and effect works like it does for everything else. When a crime's committed, there's a cause behind it. There's a reason for it. And when a group of normally well-behaved kids in an average residential neighborhood start running wild, there's got to be a reason for that, too. A month before, a rash of auto thefts, petty stealing, and public disturbances had broken out suddenly in this particular neighborhood. All of the incidents were traced directly to the teenagers in the area. Why the kids had suddenly decided to run wild, we didn't know, but the amount and nature of the violations kept getting more serious. Juveniles who'd previously been picked up for petty thefts and placed on probation were now being brought in on charges of burglary. Auto thefts in the area had jumped 20%. Misconduct and drunk charges against the teenagers, girls and boys alike, increased by the week. We had a fair idea what the root of all the trouble was. So far, we hadn't been able to trace it. 3:07 p.m. We got to the neighborhood movie theater on West Fremont and we went inside. The lobby was a shambles. A new show had just started. The manager of the theater met us in the lobby, a Mr. Clyde Barton.
Got the best of me, Sergeant. I don't know what to make of it. Just look at that wreck. You'd think they were a bunch of savages.
You have any idea at all what started them off, Mr. Barton?
No, no idea in the world. A bunch of them came in about 2 o'clock today. Boys and girls both. They sat in front and watched the picture for a while, and it started getting noisy.
Did you recognize the kids? I mean, are they from the neighborhood here?
Sure, I know who they are. I say they started to make trouble down front, kicking the back of the seats and yelling around. Usher couldn't do anything with them, so I went down to tell them to quiet down and get out.
Well, did any of them in particular seem responsible for the racket? Any ringleader?
Not that I noticed, no. I tried to be nice to kids, reason with them. They just wouldn't have it. Must have been almost 2 dozen of them. When they wouldn't behave, I told them to leave. I'd give them their money back.
What'd they do?
Got real foul-mouthed. 1 or 2 of the girls, too. Some of the language I wouldn't even use at a stag party. Well, I got so mad, I grabbed 2 of the guys by the neck and told them to get out. And that's when it broke loose.
What happened exactly?
A whole crowd of them jumped out of their seats and piled on me. I fell back down there on the floor, and I started swinging. To tell you the truth, Sergeant, I was scared. I didn't know what to make of them. It seemed like a pack of animals, wild. I happened to hit this one kid, and I saw him pull out a knife and come at me.
You usually get along pretty well with the neighborhood kids, do you, Mr. Barton? They don't have any grudge against you that you know of?
Not that I know of, no. Up to a few weeks ago, everything was fine. I never had a bit of trouble with them. Then all this rowdy stuff began. I tell you, it's got the best of me.
This is the first time you've had any trouble of any real size, is that right?
Yeah, well, once in a while the kids fool around the show, talking loud, you know, but nothing like this. See Fred, my usher, the way they messed him up, brutal. That little 14-year-old that they shoved through the glass showcase. Gonna be a real mess if he doesn't pull through.
I was going to ask you, sir, about the kids in that crowd you recognized. You happen to know any of their names?
Here's a list. 7 names in all. Every one of those kids was in that gang. I can give you a hand tracking down their addresses.
Thank you.
Something else. Here's what I was talking about.
What's this, sir?
In that scramble here in the lobby, that little box fell out of one of the kids' pockets. One of the ushers picked it up and brought it into me. Have a look inside.
Frank?
I don't know too much about it, Sergeant, but I got a hunch. I don't think I made a mistake.
Yeah?
What do you think?
No, sir, it's no mistake. Marijuana. We finished interviewing the theater manager, Clyde Barton, and then we talked to the usher, Donald Masters, who recovered the small box containing the marijuana from the floor of the lobby. He told us he recognized the young fellow who dropped the box. He said the boy's name was Harold Everson, one of the names which appeared on the list which the theater manager, Mr. Barton, had given us. 7:45 p.m. Frank and I located the Everson boys' home. It was a 2-story frame, colonial-style house in a better-than-average section of the city. The boy's father answered the door, a Harold Everson Sr. We told him what we wanted.
We were about to sit down and eat. You have to make routine calls at dinner time?
Not a routine call, Mr. Everson. We'd like to see your son if he's home.
Harry? What do you have to see him about?
Do you have any idea where your boy spent his time today after school?
Well, he said he was going down to the gym, play a little basketball. Then he was going to the library. School night. He had studying to do.
I think maybe you ought to keep a closer check on your son, sir. That's not the way we get it.
Well, what are you getting at? I trust my boy. He said he was going to the gym and then to the library. Got no reason to lie about it.
Well, I had a minor riot at a neighborhood movie down in West Fremont today, sir. Gang of high school kids ran wild and wrecked the place.
What's that got to do with Harry?
Well, a couple of people recognized him among the gang of kids. They say he did his share of wrecking along with the rest of them.
Well, it couldn't be. It's a lie. Harry didn't go to the show today. Told me when he got home, he even had his books with him. He spent the afternoon at the library.
I'd like to have you take a look at this, Mr. Everson. This box here, would you recognize that at all?
Well, yeah. Same kind of box my stomach pills come in. Got a little acid condition in my stomach. I take these pills for it. What's all this have to do with Harry?
Open the box, Mr. Everson.
I don't get it. What is this stuff?
Someone saw your son drop the box in the lobby of that theater today. The box contains what appears to be marijuana.
Well, that's stupid. It couldn't be right. I haven't got that kind of boy. I know it isn't right.
Do you mind if we talk to your son? Maybe he can explain it for us.
Just a minute. I'll get him down here. Have a chair if you like.
Thank you.
Sure a nice place, huh, Joe?
Yeah, beautiful furniture. And
nothing like period furniture. Never goes out of date. Be in style 10 years from today.
We better be sure and tag by Georgia Street Hospital on the way back, see how that kid's doing, the one who was hurt at the show.
Oh, yeah.
Officers, this is my son, Harry.
Hello, Harry.
Hello. Hi, Harry.
Harry just told me, officers, he doesn't know what this is all about. He was at the library, like I said.
Well, sure. I was there till they closed. Somebody made a mistake. I wasn't at the show today.
You know Mr. Barton, Harry, the man who runs the theater?
Yeah, I know him. Why?
He swears you were there today, so does one of the ushers.
Who?
By the name of Donald Masters. He says he knows you pretty well.
I don't know any Donald Masters.
We go to the same high school together, son. You're in the same class.
I told you I don't know any Donald Masters.
What about this, Harry?
Huh?
Would you recognize this?
No.
What is it, Harry? What's wrong with you?
Nothing. I don't know whose it is. It's not mine.
Well, it was lost in the lobby of the theater today. Masters says he saw you drop it.
He's lying. I hate the kid's guts anyway. He's lying.
Thought you said you didn't know him, son.
What are you shaking for? What kind of story are you trying to tell?
I didn't mean it, Dad. The kid got this stuff for me. I didn't mean to get it. I didn't mean to, Dad.
It's beginning to look like I'm the dunce of the family, huh?
Take it easy, Mr. Everson.
You liar, Harry.
The kid got this stuff for me, Dad. It's the truth. I didn't buy it.
You want him downtown, officers?
Afraid so, Mr. Everson. I'd like to have you come with him.
Go get dressed. Go back to your room and get your clothes on.
Okay, Dad.
I can't believe it. My own boy using marijuana. Can't tell you how I feel.
Afraid there's going to be more folks feeling the same way before this is all cleaned up.
But it'd be different if Harry didn't have a chance. A good home, good training. Boys had the best I could give him.
Yes, sir.
It's the last thing in the world I thought could happen. I never even thought about it. I never entered my mind.
Yes, sir.
Same for my wife. We never even worried about it. Neither one of us.
Maybe that's why it happened. Before we left the Everson house, we checked the boys' room and came up with another small box full of marijuana, which he'd hidden back in his closet. Besides Everson and his son, Harry, 4 other teenagers who'd had a part in the theater brawl were rounded up and taken downtown along with their fathers for interrogation. By the time we finished our questioning and the teenagers had finished talking, we had most of the story pieced together. A story that had the parents so amazed that half of them thought the youngsters were making it up. The pattern was familiar enough for us to know that they were telling the truth. Almost 2 months before, word had gone around among the teenagers in the neighborhood that marijuana, along with various stimulating drugs, was to be had easily and in quantity for anybody who wanted them. Word was passed around that it was the new thing to do, the smart thing to do if you wanted to keep up with the crowd. In questioning the Everson boy, we found that he seemed to know more about the history and operations of the narcotics campaign in the neighborhood than the other boys did.
I know one of the guys who first showed up with this stuff. Name's Johnny Demring. He's about my age, 17. I used to know him pretty well.
How do you mean he was the first to show up with this stuff, Harry? What kind of stuff?
Marijuana and some of the other things. You know, yellow jackets, goofballs. More of the kids go for them than they do for marijuana.
And do the youngsters know what these goofballs are made of, son? They know what they are?
It's dope, I guess. Narcotics. Kids get a big kick out of them. I guess that's all they care.
Now, this Johnny Demring, does he sell the stuff around the neighborhood, Harry?
Well, yeah, he was the first one. He's got a couple other kids selling for him now. A couple of them are girls. They sell a lot for him. Johnny makes pretty good money.
Yeah, I guess he does. Where does he get the stuff from, do you know?
No, I wouldn't know that. Someplace downtown, Johnny knows a guy. Never told anybody where he goes to meet the guy. Nobody ever goes with him.
Was Johnny at the show with you today?
No, he doesn't hang around with the kids much anymore. He's getting a little big time, I think. Got his own car, good-looking girlfriend downtown. Says he's going to quit school next month.
Where does Johnny live, son? Can you tell us that?
I don't know the address right off. I can check it for you in the phone book.
How about the kids that Johnny hires to sell the stuff? Can you give us their names?
Yeah, okay. I think I can remember who they are. You gonna bring Johnny in and talk to him?
That's the idea, yeah, son.
I don't know if you'll find him right away. He probably heard about the trouble today. Johnny's a pretty smart guy.
We'll find him.
Nobody knows much about him. He never talks about what he's doing, never tells anybody anything.
Well, he told you. How smart was that? Complete statements were taken from each of the youngsters we'd brought in for questioning, and then in practically all cases, they were detained pending the completion of the investigation. With the information we had at hand, it took us the better part of 4 days to round up everybody involved in the narcotics distribution system, which had been set up among the teenagers in the neighborhood by 17-year-old Johnny Demring. As for the Demring boy himself, he couldn't be found. We checked with his family, his relatives, his friends, all his known associates. We got out a warrant on him. And then we checked the car he owned through DMV, and we got out a warrant for that. No sign of the boy. Narcotics Division gave us a hand and got their informants busy trying to track down the source of the dope for which the Demring boy had been the only distributor. We knew it went far beyond him. The whole campaign to introduce narcotics in a seemingly harmless form among neighborhood teenagers and then gradually build a solid demand for more expensive stuff as the habit grew and took roots with each and every youngster. It reached to the same vicious men who make their money off the hopeless adult drug addict. The same vicious men who today are trying to build a new market for their wares among the young people of this country. Tuesday, April 29th, 2:30 p.m.
I'll get it. Juvenile Division, Smith. Yeah, Brady. Uh-huh. That right? What's his name? All right. Right, goodbye. Joe.
Yeah.
Brady from Narcotics, they figure they got our man.
The Demring boy?
No, the guy was pushing the stuff to Demring. His name's Jocko Harris. They found him in the county hospital this morning.
Yeah.
Somebody got a hold of him 2 nights ago, gave him a good working over. If we're lucky, we'll make it.
What do you mean?
Not supposed to last a day.
2:35 p.m. Frank and I left the office and went immediately to the county hospital where we were allowed to interview the narcotics suspect, Jocko Harris, briefly. He was in critical condition with a fracture of the skull. He gave us a statement in the form of a dying declaration. He admitted being the connection for 17-year-old Johnny Demring and admitted also that he kept the boy supplied with enough narcotics to keep the neighborhood teenage demand for the stuff fully satisfied.
Seemed like a good boy, Johnny. Nice kid. Smart. Never thought he'd turn away, that's all.
Where is he, Jocko? Do you know?
I only wish I did. Go beat his head in, get my stuff back. Took everything I had. One of the biggest hauls I ever handled. Every ounce.
What was it, heroin?
The best. Got only one word for you.
Yeah.
You better get him fast. He's got enough H to start a war.
Wednesday, April 30th, 9 a.m. The hunt for 17-year-old Johnny Demring was intensified. To our knowledge, because of the information we'd gained from narcotics peddler Jocko Harris, the teenage youngster had a large store of high-grade heroin, which we knew, because of his inexperience, he was unaccustomed to dealing with. In his hands, the narcotics immediately became a lethal weapon. We knew that Johnny Demring had only one market to deal in, only one type of customer he was acquainted with, the teenager. In previous transactions, we knew the youngsters received only a low-grade type of narcotic, highly diluted. We knew that if Demring succeeded in dispensing the highly concentrated store he had on hand, and the juvenile customers he served tried it on themselves, it would very likely result in death. 11 a.m., Wednesday. Despite all our efforts, Johnny Demring and the store of high-grade narcotics which he'd hijacked from Jocko Harris were still missing. Wednesday, 12 noon, we began rechecking every one of the possible sources that might lead us to the suspect. One of them was the boy's mother, a Mrs. Frances Demring. We talked to her at her work. She was employed as a multigraph operator in the mailing department of a large downtown department store.
Not since the last time you talked to me, officer. I haven't heard a word from my boy, nothing at all. Have you heard anything?
Well, yes, ma'am, in a way. We've got an ID still somewhere in the city. That's why we figured we'd come back and talk to you again.
Have you been in touch with your relatives in town recently, Miss Demring? I mean, those Johnny might possibly contact.
Yes, there's just my sister and my mother. They're the only ones I think Johnny'd go to in a case like this. Maybe because he's in trouble and all. I only wish I could have stopped the whole thing. I mean, even before it started. It should never have even started.
Yes, ma'am.
I guess it just wasn't to be right from the start. Johnny's father ran away, you know. I tried my best after that and never seemed to be enough. I suppose there's no getting away from it. A boy needs a father. You can try all you want. They still need a father, some kind of discipline.
Yes, ma'am. Well, how about the relatives you have out of town, Miss Demring? Any word from them at all about Johnny?
No, Sergeant, nothing. Matter of fact, I've been waiting for a letter. Nothing at all.
Do you have any idea at all where Johnny most likely go in town if he didn't want to be seen, Mrs. Demring?
Where he'd go? No, I wouldn't know that, Sergeant. First place, Johnny's never really been in trouble before. I mean, where he'd have to hide. He's always been good to me. Maybe too good. I wouldn't know that.
Now, how about Johnny's school friends, ma'am? Would there be any one of them he might possibly contact in a jam?
None that I haven't told you about before, I don't think. Evelyn. She's the only one I suppose Johnny'd go to if he needed help, if he was in trouble.
That's his girlfriend at the high school, Evelyn Maxford.
Yes, that's right. Sweet girl.
How about a girlfriend that Johnny was supposed to have downtown somewhere, Miss Demring? Would you know anything about her?
Nothing really, no. I knew Johnny had some other girl besides Evelyn. He did mention she lived downtown. Guess that's all I know about her. Her name was Betty, I think. Johnny mentioned it once. That's all I know about her, though.
You have no idea where she lived downtown?
No, I don't. Johnny and his girlfriends, that was one thing I tried not to pry into.
All right, ma'am. Thank you very much. Appreciate it if you'd notify us if you hear anything at all about your son.
All right, thank you. Tomorrow's Johnny's birthday, you know. I meant to tell you. I always expect Johnny home on his birthday. Seems no matter where he is, how he's tied up with his school or sports or something, Johnny always makes it home for his birthday.
I see.
Wonder how it'll be tomorrow. You Never missed being home on his birthday, not once.
Well, if he shows up, I guess you can count on one thing, ma'am.
What's that?
We might have to miss next year. 2 p.m. Frank and I picked up a glass of milk and a hot dog for lunch, and then we continued making a check of Johnny Demring's closest friends. Next in line after his mother was Demring's high school girlfriend, Evelyn Maxford. We located her at home. She seemed unusually nervous as we interviewed her.
No, there's nothing wrong. It's just all this business about Johnny. All this trouble. I've been upset ever since I heard about it.
You haven't heard from Johnny at all, Miss Maxford. He's made no attempt to contact you since the last time we talked.
I haven't heard a word, officer. I know tomorrow's his birthday. His mother's expecting him home. I know he won't come, though. I'm sure of that.
How are you sure, miss?
Well, I just know that's all. I guess he should give himself up and take his chances. But I know he won't. I know Johnny that well. He just isn't that type.
I'd like to ask you again, miss.
Yes?
Are you sure you haven't heard from Johnny Demring recently in the past 2 days or so?
No. That's what I told you. Don't you believe me?
Do you know why we're so anxious to locate Johnny, Miss Maxford?
Well, I think so. It's about the narcotics business. You say Johnny had a hand in it. He was selling those things to the kids. I still don't believe it myself.
It's a lot more than that the way it stands now, Miss Maxford.
What do you mean?
When he was at school, Johnny was kept supplied with narcotics by a man named Jocko Harris. He's what we call a pusher, a kind of an in-between supply man in the narcotics trade.
Uh-huh.
2 nights ago, Johnny caught up with Harris. He beat him up badly enough to send him to the hospital with a skull fracture. And then Johnny stole every bit of narcotics Harris had in his room, some of the strongest stuff you can buy on the market. That's why we want Johnny, Miss Maxford.
I don't think I understand. What does it mean?
Well, it means that most of the teenage kids Johnny's been supplying stuff to have been getting fairly weak grades of heroin. If he gets some of this stuff to them and the kids start taking it, it might prove too strong for them. If they take too much of it, it could kill them outright.
Oh, no.
Now you see what we're up against. We've got to find that boy, and we've got to find him soon.
Couldn't you talk to his mother? Maybe she could tell you something.
We already have, miss. She couldn't tell us anything. That's why we halfway depended on you.
Why do they have to put it in my lap? Why does it have to be me? I liked Johnny for a while. I don't know what to think now.
Have you heard from him, Miss Maxford? There's no reason to be afraid. You'd probably feel a lot worse if something happened to one of the high school kids, wouldn't you? Miss Maxford?
I got a call from him yesterday. Johnny. He wouldn't tell me where he was. I asked him, but he wouldn't tell me.
Well, what else did he say?
He knows everybody's looking for him. He doesn't know about the stuff that he stole, though. I'm sure of that. He doesn't know what it could do.
Did he make any dates with you? Did he want to see you?
Yes, he wants to see me. He wants me to meet him this evening.
Where?
He's going to tell me. Excuse me, I'll have to get the phone. Hello? Yes? Oh, but I don't know. I don't, really. What? 5:30? All right. Yes. Yes, I'll meet you then. All right. Bye. Sergeant,
Yes, ma'am.
that was Johnny just then. He wanted to make sure I was going to meet him.
When?
5:30 in Lake Park,
Which side, miss?
the west side. Sergeant, I could hardly understand him. He said he was sick.
Yeah?
He sounded sick, too. Terribly sick. It can't be true. I hope to God it's not true.
What's that?
The narcotics he stole from that man. You say they were powerful?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
Johnny's been taking them for 2 days.
Together with 2 other men from Juvenile Bureau, Hurst and McTighe, we drove down near the appointed spot along the lake in Lake Park where Evelyn Maxford's meeting with the teenage suspect Johnny Demring was to take place. We staked out at a reasonable distance, and Miss Maxford went ahead to the meeting spot. As far as we could see, there was no sign of Demring. Someone on the opposite side of the lake was playing a phonograph. The music came over faintly across the water. We watched the Maxford girl make her way up the path into the park. Come on. We ran all the way as fast as we could get there. When we got close enough, we found out the reason for the scream. He was lying face up in the water near a clump of trees. He was a good-looking boy, dark hair, good build, handsome. Took only one look and you knew right away he was too young to be dead. You could argue for a week, but you couldn't change it. He was dead. The girl stood over him, her face in her hands, crying.
I don't see any marks in the body, do you, Joe?
No. Looks like an overdose, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We better get her out of here, huh?
Yeah. It's all right, Miss Maxford. Come on. Let's go over here. We'll have one of the other officers take you home. We can take care of what has to be done here.
He was a good boy, Sergeant. He was smart. How could he ever get started in such a thing? How could he make such a mistake?
He had the best excuse in the world, miss.
Yes?
He was 17.
On May 2nd, a coroner's inquest was held at the County Morgue, Hall of Justice, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that inquest. Those involved in the juvenile narcotics ring, a total of 8 persons, were tried and convicted under the State Narcotics Act. They received sentences as prescribed by law and are now serving their terms in the State Penitentiary, San Quentin, California.
Delivered the message. Now what?
Now let's check the second message.
Ready.
Mum, the doctor's deodorant discovery now contains M3. Got that? M3 to stop odor 24 hours a day. Remember now.
I know. For security reasons, Mum's the word. New Mum cream deodorant now with M3. Got the message?
2.5 minutes to go.
Afternoon, Miss Trueheart.
Hello, Mr. Stone.
10, 20, 30. How's Mr. Tracy?
Well, he's fine, thanks. Bye.
Goodbye.
Look at him. There's something wrong with him. And him. You heard me.
X-ray timed it perfectly. The air's clear. Lock the door.
Hey, Gruesome, why one of you look as silly as they do?
Lock the door.
Dick Tracy, homicide, quickly. Hello, Dick. Listen, I'm inside the Grove Street branch of the First National Bank, witnessing a robbery.
Dead. Frozen. Uh-oh. Okay, honey, don't lose your nerve. We'll be right there.
This is Tracy. Notify all cars in the area, 4th and Grove. Bank robbery, First National.
Let's get out of here. Gruesome, there was a dame in that boat.
Oh, what? It's coming.
Tess, come out of it.
Come out of what? I'm all right.
Well, she's alive anyway.
If I hadn't been in the booth, I'd have gotten it, too. But you see...
Wait a minute.
Aim it on Thursday or the bank will be forced to foreclose.
But I tell you, I can't. You heard the man say they want a cash bonus?
Oh, that's it. Mr. Crandall. Mr. Crandall.
$1 worth of change, please.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
I don't question your word, Mr. Tracy. There undoubtedly was a bank robbery, but not here. Not here.
They sent you to the wrong bank. Mr. Banks, over $100,000 has disappeared.
Oh, that's fine.
Right under our noses.
What? This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
You've had everyone in the bank checked on.
Everyone. They all have legitimate addresses. No suspicious characters.
And you're having the screwy gas analyzed.
Fred has what was left in the shell casing. I expect a report any minute.
And the getaway car was stolen.
Picked up on the turnpike. No distinguishable fingerprints.
May I help you?
Yes, I'm Dick Tracy from headquarters. I'd
Oh,
like
I'm
to...
so glad you've come, Mr. Tracy. Have you any news of him?
Of whom?
Of Dr. Tomic. Isn't that why you're here?
But I came to see him. Is anything wrong?
Well, yes, but I thought you knew. He's disappeared. Dr. Tomic always keeps his most valuable formulae in that locked cabinet. They're quite safe there.
You have the keys, of course.
Yes, but I'm certain nothing has been disturbed.
Would you open it anyway, please?
Very well.
Do you know what each of these bottles contains?
I know they're chemical symbols, if that's what you mean.
Not exactly. Could any of them, say, mixed with another chemical, form a dangerous gas?
I hardly know. These particular ones are in experimental stages.
You won't mind my taking a little of this for testing?
Well, I hardly know what to say in Dr. Tomic's absence. Perhaps we can test it here. In fact, I'd be glad to test it for you.
I'd rather take it with me.
Very well.
Loosen the pulse.
Hey, you.
It's him, Dick! I'll take him, Dick. I owe him something.
Pat, where are you?
Here.
Are you all right?
Yeah, it was him, Dick, that drunken stiff.
Where did he go?
He got away.
Well, that's a lead anyway. What happened to you?
What happened to me?
I was standing right over there, and all of a sudden, I was... No, I'm not going to tell you.
Come on, Pat. What happened to you?
Okay. I was bit by a tiger.
Oh, Lee, where have you been? It's over an hour since I talked with you.
I'm sorry. I had important business. You look worried, dearest. What's the trouble?
That chemical I stole for you, what did you do with it?
I used it for my anesthetic experiments. What do you suppose?
I suppose you either gave it or sold it to a gang of bank robbers.
What are you talking about?
The police are analyzing the water I substituted for the formula I stole for you.
Well, what of it?
The moment Dr. Tomic returns, they'll know I substituted the water.
Oh, we'll be far away by then.
What if he returns now, tonight?
He won't, Irma.
You've done something to him.
He's perfectly safe. He'll return home in due time.
Good evening.
Oh, Mr. Tracy, how did you get here?
It was easy. Illegal, too.
Illegal? What is?
My breaking into your place and searching your things without a warrant.
I should think so. Why did you do it?
Why did you tell me I wouldn't find water in that bottle?
You didn't.
You're a biochemist. Why try to pretend you didn't know what was in that bottle?
You forget, Mr. Tracy. You tasted whatever was in it, not I. I was so sure it wasn't water that
Why?
Why? Because I can see no reason why Dr. Tomic would make such a substitution.
Neither can I. In fact, I don't think he did.
But obviously he had to. He and I are the only two people
Who have the key to that lock. So I say you made the substitution, not Tomic.
If what you found in that bottle really was water, and you're not just trying to trick me because of some fantastic notion that I mixed up with bandits, then all I can say is Dr. Tomic put it there. I didn't. And, might I suggest that you spend your time looking for him instead of badgering me?
I'm badgering you because I think you know something about his disappearance. Either you're shielding him or you're shielding someone else.
Why? Why should I? Do I look like the kind of person who goes around shielding bank robbers and murderers?
Frankly, no. But I think you got in over your head. And now you don't see any way out but lying.
I'm not lying.
I think you are. Consider this, Professor. Whoever got hold of that formula will stop at nothing to keep it. Murdering a bank guard is only the beginning. Right now, they're accused of murder. If you're involved in it, you're an accessory to murder, and your only chance of getting less than hung is to play ball on the right team.
But I tell you, I don't know anything.
I heard you the first time. Just the same, when I leave here, I advise you to get in touch with someone.
Who?
Whomever you're shielding. Tell them that no amount of money or fame or love or whatever it is you're doing it for is worth putting your neck in a noose. It's a nice neck, Professor. But that murdered bank guard had 4 kids. They liked his pretty well, too.
get rid of that car quickly.
Why, what's wrong with it?
Where is she? Picked up some bullet holes on the way. She is dead. I told you to get rid of that car.
You killed her.
You killed her. What do you suppose I do? She was leaving Tracy directly to you.
No, she wouldn't.
I say she was, but right now we've got to get rid of the evidence here. All of it, you understand? Now go start that fire.
Must there be more killings?
Yes, we have to. We've got to get Melody out of that hospital tonight and then clear out of here.
I've been to the hospital. He's in a coma. The doctor wouldn't even let him be seen. He'll be dead by morning.
You're certain of that?
Certain as I can be.
Good. And we're in the clear.
You don't care about anyone, do you?
Listen, if you want to stay alive, you'll do as I say. Now start that fire. I'll be inside.
You expect me to use that fire?
Call me when it's ready. What would you do without me?
Killing that girl was an act of cold-blooded desperation. Do you think Dr. Tomic had her shot?
That's anybody's guess.
You traced the license number, sure, or stolen plates. But if you put 2 bullets into the back end of that car, we'll pick it up in no time. Time is something I'm fresh out of.
If Dr. Carver could only fix up those other 2 crooks so they could talk.
Said he'd call me in 10 minutes. It's been 15. This is Tracy. What about that smashed-up piano player?
Just died.
What? When?
About 10 minutes ago.
Thanks.
Oh, no.
We could have sweated it out of that guy. But he had to go die on us, too.
Well, dead men tell no tales.
What did you say?
I said dead men tell no
But sometimes they do, Tess. Sometimes they do. Where are you going? See the chief. Get an okay on an idea that'll make Dan and his papers think I'm a prime heel.
Evening. Evening. Got a Corporal Duggan in 312. We came to pick him up.
Wait a minute. What's the name of that surgeon again?
Major Allen, 291st General.
He's new to me. So are you fellows?
Just been transferred from out west.
Oh, well, go on up. Do you know how to work it?
Like the fingers on my hand.
That's the gorilla, all right. They came in an army ambulance. Give me the phone, Pop. This is it. They're on their way up. Roger. Don't stop them coming down either, Pop.
You wait here. If anybody questions you, remember where you're from.
291st General.
Right.
I'm sorry, no one allowed in there.
I have orders to take his temperature every 4 hours.
Yeah?
That's right.
Well, in that case, I'll go in with you.
How are you, Melody?
Why do we bother getting birds like him well just so we can kill them?
Odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lost?
Me? Hardly. Just waiting for them to, just waiting.
Oh.
Hey.
What's the matter?
This man is running a dangerously high temperature. You better send for the doctor.
Not me, buddy. My orders are to stay right here.
In that case, I'll do it myself.
A good idea.
What happened?
It's in the wastebasket, Tim.
You want me to throw it out?
No, leave it there.
I know, but if this stuff makes people freeze the way you say it does, I won't be of any help to you.
That's right.
I know, but you're unarmed. I don't like this. Hey, this stuff has started to smoke.
It should.
Mr. Tracy, I'm beginning to feel funny.
So am I, Tim. So am I.
Should be clear now.
Yes, I understand. Mr. Patton told me to let him go. Huh? You're right. Here they come. Oh, sure. Patton saw the ambulance. Right, sir. Bye. Oh, I see you got your man.
Thanks, we did.
Say, who do you guys think you are parking here? Can't you read?
Sorry, we didn't see the sign.
Didn't see the sign. What kind of an excuse is that? Who are you guys? Where are you from?
291st General Hospital.
What?
291st. Will you please step aside?
General, huh? That was my old outfit, and they sold these 41 crates a month ago. Where'd you pick it up?
Look here, this man is dying.
Yeah, and I got a rush call. So what? You know what I think? I think you guys are a couple of cadaver snatchers. I'm going to take a look at this stuff.
No, wait. The other one.
But this is ours.
That one won't be spotted so quickly. Put him in that one.
I hope nothing went wrong.
What good? Tim would never leave Dick. Hey, here comes an ambulance out.
Shall I flash the rest of the boys? No, they're driving an army crate. That one belongs to the city hospital.
That was a clever piece of work, Gruesome.
It almost misfired. Saul told you that corporal's name was Joseph Duggan. It was really John. How is he?
He's still under the effects of the gas.
Start up the fire.
Not Melody, too.
Start up the fire.
What's the matter, Bud? Ask the guy who stole this crate. Yeah, and mine.
Yeah? You mean a big mug and a little guy with glasses?
Yeah, with a patient on a litter.
Well, I'll be a... That gorilla outsmarted me again. They pulled a switch. We've got to follow that white ambulance.
How do you know where it went?
Huh? That's right. Sparks, this is Patton. Put all cars on the lookout for a White City Hospital ambulance. Get that? Yeah. It's carrying 2 killers and Tracy unarmed.
I'm not going to come in after you. I don't have to. Remember the bank? You've got about 60 seconds left. There's no other exit, Tracy. This is the end of the line.
So this is the baby that caused all the trouble, huh?
Yes, that's the last of those devilish gas bombs, Pat. As soon as Dan has had a look at it, we'll file it in the archives of lethal weapons.
I want to see you, Tracy.
Well, take a good look, Dan.
What's the idea of selling me out to those radio vultures? You made me a promise.
Promise? Who is this fellow, Pat?
Don't know. I never saw him before. You promised me an exclusive story.
Story? What story, sir?
He could mean the story of the capture of a gang of bank robbers, Dick.
Capture? When? Where? It's all here and it's all true. Give me that. Okay, Dick?
In about 25 seconds, Pat.
Sorry, can't wait. Maybe I ought to tell you about it, Dan.
Some other time. Aren't you going to read it?
Gotta make that deadline. This is the biggest story I ever had anything to do.
Your host, Chester Realgood here, wishing you enjoyed those mysteries as much as I did. Join us back next week and take a look at the work of Bob Hope with two of his most famous films. As always, we'd like to thank the good people down at Beekman Place for so kindly letting us ransack their shop. Thanks for watching us on KBVR Channel 26. We hope you have a good night and see you here next week.